Alright guys, this is going to be a video on Aero. This is not financial advice, so I'm just going to get right into it. So if you watched what happened with Aero, Aero was following this trend line, which is the green dash line. And when you have a ascending pattern like this, it usually breaks to the downside. That's the highest probability. So if you see that this trend is going up, eventually it's gonna break. So Aero decides to shoot up, touch the trend line, bounce, touch the support line, which is the lower trend line, keeps going up. Now when Aero gets here, it breaks through the trend line. What this is really telling you is this is a fake out, because this type of trend breaks to the downside. So it continues to go up, comes back down, re-enters the trend again, because this trend was a fake out when it broke to the upside, because as I showed you here, it's supposed to break to the downside. So let's continue. After it breaks, it comes to this point here, continues to go up, and this is where it gets rejected. Now, we don't know this yet, but this is the future trend line that's going to get created. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So here's the interesting thing. So when Aero comes up here and it starts to move up, goes sideways, look what happened to this candle right here. On this particular day, on the 8th of April, Aero actually opened the day at 185, but it actually dropped to 150. And then after it dropped to 150, it shot up all the way to, let's just go with a rough number, $2.40. Then after it went to 240, people started selling off. So it started dropping, and then it came here. So it stopped at 190. So you can see this massive movement, almost doubling, maybe not doubling, but like a 60-70% pump in a day. Then what happened? Then the very next day, Aero again opened at 185. It traveled down to 160. Then from there it moved up to 215, and it closed the day at, let's say, 190. And after that, which is this area here, it never got one full candle above this trend line. But again, the trend line is not quite defined yet. So let's take a look. So we're going to move it over. So now Aero is starting to go on this descending pattern. So we have this trend line and this trend line. And then we have the middle line, which is the bullish and the bearish part of it. So if you look at it, Aero then came down. And from there, Aero went up, came down. Now we said a descending line breaks to the upside. So when Aero broke out of this area, this is again a fake out. Comes back inside the trend line, works itself, comes down. It didn't enter the bullish part of it. So now I'm going to just move over. Aero just continued to come down. Travel. And this was that big crash when Aero hit 40 cents. Now when Aero hit 40 cents, myself, I was thinking, oh man, Aero is not looking good. I heard rumors about Coinbase is buying Aero and they're gonna make institutional adoption of it. So that news itself was bullish. So when that bullish news took place, again, focus on the trend line here and trend line here. Aero started to shoot up. And as Arrow started to shoot up, people are like, oh my gosh, Arrow's gonna go back to the moon. We misjudged Arrow. Arrow is an amazing coin. Now, myself included, at that time when I saw this pump happening, I was not following trend lines the way I am following it today. Arrow gets a confirmation candle above the bullish part, continues to go up. But look, this pump here went from 45 to $1, $1.05. So you thought, man, Arrow's back on track, but it wasn't. It came back, touched the trend line. When we see a trend line to trend line move like this, we think we missed out or we need to jump right back in. But if you are following the trend line, you realize, no, this is not a bullish or bearish move, which everybody loves to talk about. This is more, it's following its trend line. It's just touching the top of the trend line. So yes, from the bottom of the trend line to the top of the trend line is a big move. But if it can't set a candle above it, then this move means nothing, because either it's going to travel sideways on the top, but regardless, because this is a descending pattern, eventually it is going to break to the downside. I mean, upside. Again, it's going to break to the upside. So it's going to break out this way, but it hasn't. So let's continue to follow Arrow. Now, so Arrow bounced at the resistant line, which is also the top part of your trend line. Now Arrow is staying on the top portion of our bullish pattern. Wick down, came back up, and it's just moving down. Look. So as of right now, Arrow's at 64 cents. So if Arrow continues down this trend for, let's say, another 1 week, Arrow's going to come down to 53 cents. And Arrow will continue to go down until, let's just say, this area, this area, this area, this area, this area. Actually, let me delete this. Let me move the chart over so you can see it. So if Arrow, let's say at this point, has not decided to break out yet, then we're going to get a below 40 cents Arrow. Until Arrow decides it's going to break out, sets a confirmation candle on the top. If you lost faith in Arrow while it was dropping from the all-time high and down to where it is today, well, nothing has changed. It's still following the same trend line. Until you get this confirmation candle, Arrow is still declining. So remember, we don't know many things, but if you study charts a little bit, you will see what the patterns are and what confirmation candle is. So until we get this confirmation candle, I personally would not say Arrow is back on track, because to me, Arrow is not on track until I get this little candle above it. I may even wait for a second candle. So even though I don't hold Arrow anymore, if I was going to enter a new position in Arrow, I would enter either from this candle or this candle. Without those two candle confirmation, no way I'll ever enter Arrow. I need to make sure Arrow is out of this trend. I hope that helped. Again, guys, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you, if you follow the trend line, don't let movement trick you. If Arrow came down to this yellow line and it bounced up to the top of the trend line, I don't think this is bullish. Bullish in a sense where it made a 20% move, a 15% move, 25% move. But what good is a 25% move if it corrects itself back down 30%? It has no benefit for me. This is why, as I'm learning to chart, I need confirmation candle, because a pattern like this breaks to the upside. Why do I keep talking about patterns and where they break? Because I'm trying to go with the highest probability. Please give me your feedback on the comment below. Let me know if this helped you on a direction. If you're thinking about re-entering Arrow and you don't hold, again, I would suggest wait for a confirmation candle, or don't get fooled, because I don't want it to come up to this trend line right here and then it rejects and it continues to travel down. Because if it travels down, I'll enter here. If it travels down further, I'll enter here. If it keeps going down, I'll enter. But if I really want Arrow, I will not enter here. So if you let your Arrow go already in profit, then you want to re-enter at the best possibility, and if you have a solid, strong trend line, which again, let me zoom out, you can see this trend line's been going on for a while. It started in April 7th, and today is August 16th. This trend line has been respected for a long time. Well, guys, I hope it helped. The videos are running long, but I just thought I'd hammer it in so you can tell yourself, you know what, I need to start having my own trend lines.